Welcome back, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So another question that I would love to hear from anyone that wants to speak on this. It's really about the difference between a pivot versus more of a earned evolution, if you will. How do you know when it's time to pivot or redirect because something's just not working versus it's time to pivot because there's an evolution happening with this offer or you or the product suite or what have you, and you're really following the data, the intuition, what you know to be true versus just context switching out of fear?
I have something on this. So people come to me and they'll ask about their pricing. And one of the things that we've done is evolve our pricing. Like we now have like a base $7,000 and then $100,000 offer. That does not happen immediately. And so people will be like, hey, what should my pricing be? And what I truly did was use legitimate supply and demand. I was like, there is only one me. At $2,000, we were having 78 people. There was a time, not like I'm scarred or anything, that I had 60 people in Voxer with one-on-one access to me.
Ooh, girl, child.
My hormones tanked, my body, everything went.
Let me tell you about cortisol.
So yeah, it was so bad.
Yeah.
But that was data. Data makes decisions and decisions make dollars. So I was like, I can't have 60 people in here. I was like, this is when you raise your prices, right? I was like, there's supply, there's demand. And so I think my perspective and opinion is wait until your hand is forced. Like my hand was forced. It was like, you cannot charge this price anymore. And every time I always have a rule. It's like, if you're going to raise your price, just tell them. And I'm like, hey, we're raising the price. We're raising the price. And I was still able to get to eventually now where I have that top tier is 15 people. And there's the only people that have the one-on-one. But that's now a 6-figure situation.
Right.
But that took 3 years to get there.
Right.
So I just think let the data help you make a decision one way or the other versus being like, what should I charge? It's like, just get something out there. Let's see what we do. And then we'll evolve it over time.
Well, and that's something I see too of like, sometimes women, and I even have clients that do this, that they don't, it's like they're waiting for this magical day to be like, well, when's the day that I'm going to know?
Right.
And to me, I don't think it really comes that way.
It does not.
What are your
So
thoughts?
true. No, I agree. And, you mentioned pivot versus earning your elevation. I have a lot of thoughts on that one. And a lot of the women I work with, they pivot very quickly. And when I worked for Tony Robbins, he talked a lot about how entrepreneurs, we love variety. We love to switch it up, change things up, new offers, new prices, new whatever it is. And I have noticed that the entrepreneurs that have really made it, that aren't just making a lot of money, but they are wealthy. Number one, they have very few streams of revenue. So we've been taught, at least I was from very beginning, have tons of streams of revenue. And then when you look at some of the greats even, they have one or two and they're really good at it. And so what they're not doing is they're not pivoting everywhere. And so if you find yourself with new programs, new names of programs, you're changing your newsletter, now your podcast is this, it used to be that, you're craving variety. And I always say, go find variety in your personal life. Go find the
In your
fun.
wardrobe.
She did it.
Right?
In your shoes.
Go find it in your shoes. And let's stay the course in our businesses. And I think the women that win, they're like a dog with a bone and they stay with it until they're great at it. And I think a lot of us in this room have done that. It is how I have built my wealth for 17 years is and when you become known for something, that is where the
Game
money
changer.
is, right?
Yes, yes.
Game
That if they
changer.
can say your name and what you're known for, done.
Yep.
And that does not happen when you are flip-flopping,
No,
right?
yes.
From here to there to there. So I really die on that hill.
Yeah.
I did flip-flop though for a while, but now I am the girl that is staying the course.
Yeah.
So I do think it's good to know like you can change because I've got
But
3
why
podcast
are you
names
changing?
and all of that. And I did make a very big pivot, which was a good pivot and it was a smart pivot. It was, I was doing monthly challenges and they were getting better and better and better. And I just kept working that machine and they started to go down, down, down. And I'm like, wait, I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger. My team is getting stronger. What is happening? And I could just tell it's the market. It's saturated. My messaging is no longer that different. And that was when I decided, okay, we're pivoting. And we pivoted to well-oiled operations, right? Go back to who you are. I'm like, I have a team. I've got 50 employees. Like not everybody can teach this, right?
Yes.
So I decided to make that really hard pivot, but off of data, not off of my gut. Like data was telling me.
Or emotions.
Emotions. Yeah. And it took a while. Like it wasn't just a quick overnight. It was me watching for a while and then thinking, well, where do I want to go? Who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want? It took a little while.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like there's two sides to it. I think that exactly, I love that you just shared that, because sometimes the data isn't great, but you're obsessed with, you're like, I want this to work so much. And it's like, you're often like 3 feet from gold, right? It's like this little tweak or the way that you're doing it, or paying attention to the market where you're like, I am obsessed with this and I'm really good at this. Why is it not working? I think a lot of people stay in the same strategy. They're like, because it worked. The amount of times that people hire me and they're like, but we've been doing this for 3 years and it's always worked. And I'm like, but it's not 3 years ago. Like we're in a different market and people are so resistant to change. It's like really knowing the difference between like understanding what is a me issue and what is a market issue. And the data will tell you, like the data tells you, but also you will tell you. And sometimes I think in female entrepreneurs, you know, we have a tendency to be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. And it's often like one thing about the offer. It's like, well, what about it? I'm always like, what about it do you not like? And people will be like, oh, well, I do these additional Voxer days on Friday. And I'm like, so let's take off, let's get rid of the
Exactly.
Voxer days.
So that's what I mean by sometimes it's not everything needs to be thrown out.
Something. It's like something about
and you
the
find
offer.
your path that way.
Or it's like one client. They're like, I love this mastermind, but then this person joined. I'm like, okay, then remove that person.
Yes.
Like you don't have to close the mastermind.
This is why I say, like, we get emotional about data. Like the data is not emotional. Yeah. We are.
Yes.
And that's what I love about ads. I'm like, when people bring me ads, I'm like, it's in the data. To what does the data say?
Yeah. It's exactly right. You can look at it and you can want something to work so badly, but sometimes just calling the spade a spade.
I think people pivot to avoid discomfort. They're like, they're just avoiding discomfort, but then they're surprised why the same problems keep showing up.
Or they get bored and I'm like, learn to love boring money. Boring money, stable money. Boring money is what every billionaire in the world
Has boring money.
Boring money.
I've always said, you know, I taught courses forever and ever. I didn't want to talk about courses every day of my life.
You didn't wake up every morning saying, I am ready to teach courses.
I mean, 90% of the time. But yeah, no. And I had repeated the same thing over and over and over again. And I think that's what it takes.
But it's like marriage and relationships. Like you have to keep showing up and finding new ways to love somebody. And new ways to pour into them and new ways to reconnect. Even as you grow and change, your business is no different.
Up-level your strategies. Don't throw away your whole business and try something new every other year.
Yeah.
So good.
I always tell people too, keep your bestseller the bestseller. Go have the variety in the front where you can try different. Let your marketing be that variety, but the back end has to stay the same. Like, you know, because I am a visionary. I want new ideas. Great. Let's put that to use in marketing.
That's so good, Stacey.
Well, speaking of the numbers, I would love to know, was there a magical number that you had in your head that you were like, once I get there, and then once you got there, how'd you feel? What changed? What happened?
Yes. Absolutely.
So if you wouldn't mind too, like sharing the number too.
Okay. I wanted a $20 million year with a 40% profit margin. That was important to me. And I don't know why, but that was like when I get to a $20 million year. And we did it a few years ago. And I remember my whole life didn't change. Like it was great. I loved it.
I asked you that night. I was like, what are you and Hobie doing tonight? You're like, we're just going to sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
We're just gonna hang out. And it was so wild that I thought everything would change. And I realized I'm all about going for big numbers and I want to make a lot of money and I want women to talk about making a lot of money, which is why I say my numbers. I met this guy that's not in our industry and he was at a mastermind with me and he's like, you throw out numbers a lot. And I'm like, damn right I do. Because if I don't talk about my numbers, other women won't.
That's right.
And so I think it's so important. But I was so proud of the 20 million. I will never, ever not think that was such a cool moment. And at the same time, I probably made some sacrifices that if I look back, were they worth it? I don't know. So, but that was the number I wanted more than anything. Yeah.
I think for me, I mean, I've always had it. It was $1 million, and then it was $1 million a month, and then it just never stops. Yeah. I think though this year has been the year where I went into this year with my goal with the profit margin. Like I want 24 million. I am so detached to this number.
So smart.
And I have never been detached before. And really, I don't even care. Like, it's to the point where, first of all, revenue means nothing. Profit is everything.
Yes.
So I love that you're
Yes.
attaching profit.
Yeah.
So I could even do worse than last year, but have bigger profit and be excited. Like, that's what matters. So I've really let go of that number and more of like the feeling of what am I actually going to experience.
Okay, that's good. That's what I was missing.
And I've been missing it forever. Like, this is, I'm talking like in the last quarter, I have had this realization of like, it really doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I learned that like even early on, like even when I was doing like 30K months and I wanted to do 40K months and I wanted to do 50K months, it's like every time I hit it, it was like bigger, better Bertha would step in 16 seconds after, like next, what's next? And it was like really early on, I think it was more amplified the bigger the numbers got and the bigger the milestones got. I think like when we built our house, which was a really like big deal. We moved in last July.
It's gorgeous.
And thank you. And it was like there's very few moments in life where you're actually able to see something be built in slow motion in front of your eyes. I feel like we're so in our business we can't see it the way you're externally watching it. So for me, it was such an incredible thing to see. And I think I had this like misguided notion that like when I'm in the house, I will.
Yes.
And it's like then when we moved in being like, why is that not happening? And realizing that it's like I was waiting to get in the house it was like I had this like vision board version of myself and I almost thought like being in the house would make that a reality, but I was the one deciding my calendar or deciding what I was and wasn't doing. And I found myself with the same patterns and same bad habits that I had, like compromises that I was making here over here. And again, it was good because it made me realize like, oh, I'm the problem. Like we're always the problem. And no external thing is ever going to prevent you from needing to do the work. You know, I shared this on social media, but when I've suffered with depression my entire life, so it's not something that's new to me in seasons. But when I was doing $1 million months and I felt depressed and suicidal, that is the loneliest I've ever felt, because it was like, how do you tell somebody that you're depressed and you're doing $1 million a month? And money, that just is the epitome of your experience of money is the important part. When you say you want money, it's not the money. It's like, what experiences do you want? And I'd created the experience of like, again, supply and demand. I had demand out the wazoo, but it was problematic because I was at the center of everything. And then people pleasing, I didn't want to let anybody down. Young kids, $1 million months, and suddenly I was like, I am the most visible I've ever been, and I'm the most invisible I've ever been. And in that moment, I was like that, and I'm so grateful now. Like it did not feel like a gift, but now I'm like, wherever I will be the cost or my mental health will be the cost, the answer is fuck no.
How did you get to the other side of that?
By raising a hand. You know, I think that depression, for anyone that has had the unfortunate displeasure of being gripped by the vice-like grip that is depression, it is illogical. It doesn't have to make any sense. I think it makes you just isolate yourself even more. And, you know, I'm like queen of brave face. I had a corporate career where I hid depression for 11 years. So it wasn't hard for me to do that in my own business. But I think that there was a moment where I realized if I didn't, you know, it's like you've got two options. Like this pulls you all the way down. It was actually seeing someone on social media who had taken his life and was in a very prominent position. And I found myself that day being like, oh, I get that. And being like, this feels very problematic. That's what I was like sympathizing and feeling like, I bet he felt invisible. And I was like, this is bad. Like, this is way what it was almost like it was not until retrospectively that I realized how bad it was. Yeah. And so I think even in just telling people close to me, which is again, really difficult, for me, being vulnerable is being audacious is easy. Being vulnerable is really hard. And I felt weak and I felt like, what are people going to think if I say it? But actually the most freeing thing has been even sharing it with the world on social media. Cause I'm like, the shame, like depression grows in the dark where shame is. And so the minute you start sharing it with everyone, it's like, that's the worst thing you can know about me. Like the light, now the light's on it. Can't grow anymore. So it took time, but it was really raising my hand with the people that I trusted and just being honest about how I was feeling, and like step by step. It's like you come back to life, but you have to like allow other people to help you with that because you can't do it by yourself.
Thank you for sharing.
I think you said the most beautiful thing. It's the experience of what you think money will get you. What do you want the money for? The difference between 20 and 40 might not change your life that much.
Right.
For me, I remember so I wanted $3,000 a month. Yeah. And I thought I would never need any more money again in my whole life. Right? You know, I wanted to just be able to get something on the menu and not think about it.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's still my favorite part is being able to not have to look at the price to the right of the food that I want to get and not have to think, can I put guac on that? Like that is still the experience so much. I got to get chickens again and I got to get the best coop at Tractor Supply. And I didn't have to think about it. Like it's the experience of what money gets you.
Yeah.
So not the actual number in the bank. And I've watched in my former life of music, I would watch so many artists be like, when I get the Grammy, when I get the #1 album. And I watched them get it. They were miserable the whole way.
Yep.
They sacrificed everything. And then they stood on that stage and they were like, nothing changed. I'm just more miserable with a trophy.
And it's a racket. That whole process of like award, it is a racket.
And your worth was attached to that number. Your worth was attached to that trophy the whole time. And then you get there and you know, we've all tasted it, that you don't change that much when you see the number in the bank. It's not real. But what is real is the experience that you're having.
So true.
To be able to take, your mom across the world on a great flight. Like it's those things. It's the tool and the opportunities that it provides you. And so if you attach to that, the experience and the sharing and not having to look at the price on the menu, that's what makes money.
Don't you think that's when the money really comes?
I was going to say, isn't that the irony? Because I feel like the art of detachment is an art form for a reason, and you're like, detach, but you cannot. And while you,
I didn't even know what that meant.
I didn't know either.
People would
I'm
say,
like, what?
You're attached. I'm like,
How
do you want me to do?
How do I not be attached?
Yeah.
And when you actually I'm like, I don't care. Like,
yes, I don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Like when, I remember doing a launch, when we actually moved to the house, I did like a launch, a Soft Girl Millions launch, but I launched, and my team were all there and they were like, we were done. And I'd sold and whatever. And again, I don't even like pitching for that reason. Cause I'm like, it creates attachment in my body. I'm like, buy, don't buy, whatever. Yeah. Like if you're here and you got what you needed, amazing. If you want to keep working with me, these are the ways. And everyone was like, you haven't even checked Kajabi to see how many sales. And I was like, because I don't care, because everything adds up for me always. Yeah. But that's how you know. And it's not until you really that is the irony, because, I think we are taught, I remember early on in entrepreneurship thinking like manifestation was like be in the energy of abundance and celebration. And like every dollar is like, every sale is like this exciting celebration. And actually like the more money that I have, like the wealthier I become and the more money in the bank that we have, like the more neutral I am around money. There isn't actually there's not the like highs, and there's also not the like lows of like worrying about what the credit card's going to be or what the cost of something is going to be. But it's like that neutrality, and you don't know you're detached until you actually know that you're detached.
Can you be detached before you have the privilege of not having to worry about your bills?
I was just thinking that. That's a good one.
It's easy to say now.
I feel like it came on the other side of it. I think I was absolutely positively desperate for someone to buy. Yeah. Like there's attached and then there's like desperate.
Well, and if that's like, I mean,
pay me.
I came from two parents that, my mom got pregnant when she was 16, had me at 21. My dad wore a blue collar to work every day. I mean, my grandmother lived in a trailer her whole life. And so I just always remember being a little girl and being like, this cannot be the rest of my life. I've got to figure out what this is. But then on the same hand, they were hardworking people. Like my grandmother would rather live in a trailer than ever take a handout. Like that's just who she was. But then that also teaches you not to ask for help.
Yes.
And that you have to do it all and you have to figure it out and you don't take handouts. And so it's an interesting thing to also be thinking about, like where does that story around you and money come from? Because that's gonna...
And money is the biggest... money and alcohol will amplify everything. Like I like nice shit, in case you haven't noticed, and I could spend money like I stole it, like a full-time job. So the reason why profitability is such an important conversation is the number of times that has been mentioned in conversation in the time I've been in the online space. I can count on my hands, two of which just happened right now. And not enough. We do not have a lack of sales in this industry. We have a lack of profitability issue.
I can prove this because last week I was in Vegas at a business event, and we're going around the room and everybody got an audit of their business. And so they start and they say, here's your revenue, here's your profit. There were people that had a larger business than I did. We're on track for 12 this year. We've done $1 million months every month so far. But there was like someone with a $25 million business. And I was telling Adley in the car, one had a $25 million business, let's use this one, and their profit was $1 million. And then one had a $16 million business and their profit was $300,000.
Oh man.
So I'm like, someone for the love, it's like, it's so like, ooh, $20 million, $12 million sounds cool. What sounds great
Sounds
is
like a lot of work for a little bit of money.
Right? I'm like,
there are way easier ways.
I'm like, what's wrong? So yes, the profit matters. And I feel like, I don't know if y'all feel like this. I probably imagine that you do. But when I have conversations with anybody other than Stacey, just because we've had like business conversations, like there's like this guilt that you have profit. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
It's like
No.
people, well, not,
I was like,
okay,
what?
okay, around, not with y'all, like anybody else who has a business or like someone on your team or someone, it's like, it's profitable. It's this profitable. And I just feel like there's this guilt around it. So I've had to be okay with like, the whole point of this business is so that we can have profit. We're doing good things with the money.
Like they feel guilty making money.
I think it's guilty that we were making so much with the profitability.
Oh.
And like, one of the things that I had to think about for me was like, yes, my target was first 10,000, then 100, then 1 million. And now I feel like what I really want is to think about what good are we doing it? So I know I talked about my husband, but we made like a 5-figure investment to a counseling organization last year. That was really cool because I don't think we'd be married without it. And I was like, this year, am I going to get to say we get to give a 6-figure bit? Like that type of stuff, like the experience. It's the experience for me, but it's also the experience of how good it feels to give it. And also I was like thinking about this while we were going around talking about what was that number. And I'm not going to cry. But Amy, there was this, do you remember you took your team on a trip somewhere like Mexico?
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be fine.
You can cry.
No, you can cry.
It really might. I just remember looking at it and I was like, she paid for her team? I was like, who has that money? What kind of money is that? I was like, that might have cost $100,000. And I think that extreme reaction to money was what held me back from making it. It was like $1,000, but I'll never forget it. And I'm taking my 16 people to Greece next month. And I'm like, I'm literally doing this.
Greece, that's way better than Mexico.
We're doing a Greek Isles cruise. And like, Amy, I swear, like seeing that and seeing what you did for those people, like they were all happy. And I was like counting them. I was like,
so special.
She's like doing the math.
I was literally like, that is unfathomable that she paid for that.
But what an expander.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
So like that one post, I'll never
that's
forget. I
really
saved it. And I was
special.
like, one day I will take people. And so it's that for me.
That is really special. I love that story. I hope my team's not watching because you're going to Greece. But,
When we left your event, my team, we just went out with Ashley for 2 days and they were like, where's our bags? Louis Vuitton.
I gave 2 of my teammates a Louis Vuitton. She did put in her notice 2 weeks later. We'll cry about that later.
no.
I know, I'm like, anyway, but
You're like, I'll take that back.
But again, it's like, can you give freely with like no abundant,
attachment.
Like that's the thing. Yeah.
And that's the thing is, I can't believe that I was able to give a purse like that. I can't believe, but literally just that one post. I can't remember a single other thing that you posted in this moment.
I love that so much, but I appreciate you sharing that story because that's why I think these conversations, and Julie, thanks for bringing us together, are so important because I had a woman say one day, I love that you asked our numbers and that we all had different numbers and different experiences because that 1 million is such a big marker for a lot of female entrepreneurs. And I remember I shared it on a podcast and this woman said to me, I didn't even know that was possible. And she blew my numbers out of the water years later, but we need to hear it from other women. And so
post the reel.
post it.
Like
the ripple effect.
Someone could think that she's bragging and I'm like, thank God she like did this and posted it and shared.
I love that story.
That has been one of my like guiding stars and like, here we are. Isn't that crazy?
Here we are.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, mine was I wanted $1 million launch, and in 2018 I got it. And at the time, I was so focused on the next thing. I didn't know how to be grateful. We've talked about this, especially like pre-COVID online marketing was so different because so many of us were 2, 3, 4, 5, 10xing our numbers every year. We just thought that was the norm.
That's a great.
It was just really, and so when 2023 or 2024 hit, and it's like, oh, you're not doing that anymore. I made that mean something about me.
Yes, very real.
Because for so many years, that was the industry hadn't caught up with itself. So that was normal. You could give Facebook $1 and they would give you $8 back like it was nothing every single day.
Just imagine where you'd be if you started
I can't even fathom. I don't
You might
know
not have been born.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Truly.
But that was the thing. It was interesting to me that, you know, first it was $5,000 months, you know, and then it was $100,000 a year, and then it was $1 million a year, and then it was with my Influencer Academy launch. We had $1 million launch, and I didn't celebrate. I just
Moved on.
That's
yay, we got it moved on. Now how do we
for
make
it?
this?
Like, can we like re-celebrate?
Yeah.
I think I didn't know. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, no, but I think that it takes those moments of us like looking back of like, wow, like I really didn't take a moment to appreciate
Yes.
how far I had gotten myself, the work that I had done, and the impact and influence that created. And it's, you know, you sent me a DM that was really, really kind and beautiful. But I just said, thank you for sharing that, because I think a lot of times when we're moving and shaking, we don't know that this post that we're putting on Instagram with our team in Mexico are sharing about this, you know, really dark moment when outside looking in, everything looks perfect or what have you. We don't know that there's a domino effect to that. And so I just think that it's really powerful that we can have those moments, we can look back and we can just share so candidly of like,
I do too.
I hit it and I didn't really give myself credit for that. And so
I want to throw you a party right now. That's special. It's a hard work. Like the amount of work that goes into having $1 million launch.
Oh, unbelievable. And it's very rare.
yeah,
Very rare.
thank you. It is. And now we get to do fun things, and I just come at it from a really just more grateful. And the way of like, I think you said it earlier, I feel like as much as I have accomplished in my business, and I think all of you can agree, and the amazing things that I've done, it is the least interesting part of my entire life.
Yes.
My husband, my family, our friends, our dynamic, my spiritual practice, you know, my wild and crazy extended family that you know. I mean,
I love them.
I have such a full, rich, bountiful and beautiful life that I work really, really hard for that 98% of people will never see. And that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because I think a lot of people talk about like, do you think people would, I get this a lot because I talk about money. Like people are like, well, it's easy for you because you're doing $1 million months, or it's easy for you because you have 1 million followers, or it's easy for you because you had $1 million launch. Right. But I think for me, I'm like, first of all, everyone here grew their business without those without the irony. I'm like, well, I didn't have $1 million months so that doesn't even the math starts at zero. But also, I'm like, if I could not talk about money ever again, I would still be wildly successful because again, that's the least interesting thing about me. Yes. And actually, if you know, for me, it's like talking about numbers is important for all the reasons that you said. But actually, I'm like, the least important reason for you to hire me is how much money my business makes.
Yes.
Like that is not a reason to hire somebody. Like hire someone who you know can actually help you in the area that you need support with, and how much revenue their business makes doesn't actually always match to what it is that you're hiring them for. It just shows you that I'm great at marketing. That doesn't show you that I'm great at helping you with marketing.
Right. Boom.
But it's, you know, I think it's really important to know that like separate, again, I think a lot of women get caught up with like our worth is attached to, I've had a lot of people after last year, we did $500K a year, $2.4 million a year, 11 million a year, a $23 million a year with a tiny fucking audience. And so everyone's like, what are you going to do this year? 50 million? $1 bajillion.
Right.
And again, it's like, I'm like, okay, I have to detach from, because it's easy for Bigger, Better, Bertha to come in and be like, well, I could. And I'm like, no. And actually what I found myself doing this year is, you know, even just like focusing on the passion projects I was talking about before around like, I'm actually, a lot of my clients have been like, oh, you seem different in your content. Like you're doing something different with content. What are you doing? Tell me the secrets. Tell me all the things. And I'm like, I'm actually just like having a bit more fun and just like not making everything as reverse engineered from like selling the offer. I'm actually just showing more of my personality. And if that gets us 20 million this year, if it gets us 11 million, I'm good either way because hashtag profitability is important. But just, it's like, I think like Adley would be successful if she didn't have 1 million followers. Like you'd be successful if you didn't have $1 million launch. Amy would still be Amy without, it doesn't matter. It's like the numbers are always going to be the least impressive thing about you. And no number will be able to like match, like it just amplifies. If you have low self-worth, it will amplify your low self-worth.
Yes. I think it too, as all of us as coaches, to others, measuring our success, because if we can detach from the numbers, what's their success look like? Like, I don't get thrilled by doing 1 billion views a month, or even doing a $500,000 month. We've done a couple $1 million months, but not our video business still does better than coaching, because I'm still figuring out what the heck I'm doing, you know? And it's going great, but I'm not like, I hoped for $100,000 from one offer we did $850. And I was like, that's 8 times more than I was hoping for, but I didn't know what goals to even set, because I didn't know what was reasonable, you know? But I get more excited by Shirley from Ohio getting her business, because she can see how to package herself differently, because it's hard for people to read the label from inside the bottle. So I'm like, we can help market or make videos around your boring business. I get more excited by their unlocks. And then the more I get excited about their success, the more the revenue grows and really takes care of itself.
100%.
I need you to make some testimonial ads, just because those perform really well. Like, I need you to get the Susie that you helped grow whatever. Like, I need some testimonial ads.
It's like, wait, client conversation.
I'm like, I need this. She's like, wait, right now? And I'm like, but truly, that's why it's like the impact for other people. Like, my worst performing organic posts are obviously, she audited my Instagram. She's like, yes, this is not good. And it is
not exactly what I said.
You said it way nicer. But yeah, the testimonials and the impact for other people, like, sometimes I just post that and the views are terrible.
Oh my God, they suck. They're the worst.
But I'm like, only the people watching them are probably the one that it really matters anyway. If it's 2,000 people, it's 2,000 people.
2,000
people.
Really,
so like, I will,
still in the mix.
I will post it unashamedly. I'm like, I got something the other day that did 900 views. I don't care.
I don't care.
I really don't.
I don't care.
That went to the right 900 people.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, talking a little bit more about wealth, I would love to hear, what are things that you're doing outside of the business to grow your legacy? You know, John and I, we've got real estate investments. There's a couple of lifestyle-driven products that we've invested in with friends of ours from Los Angeles that have created things. But what are you all doing? Well, I know, Leland, I'll start with you, because I know you and your husband have a lot of, I think it's real estate, commercial and residential, or mixed?
Yeah, so we started investing in real estate, and I honestly attribute that to a big part of the reason why my revenue skyrocketed, because it had a bigger purpose than just me wanting to do 50K months. We started, you know, I always love to tell the story, but like Justin, when I had a huge part of my identity wrapped up in my corporate success. So when I left corporate, it was really weird for me starting at like zero, trying to build a coaching business. Like, I wasn't very good at being a beginner and not having influence, like feeling like I was invisible. And I took on some like consulting roles for retailers and like almost killed myself traveling, trying to grow a business like with a baby. And Justin looked at me and he was like, I came home from a trip after being on like 9 flights that week. And he was like, what is happening? And I'm like, I'm just like so afraid to stop and like turn down the money, because I'd always taken care of myself. I'd always contributed. And the idea of like someone looking after me made me like, let's go to therapy. And so for me, like, he took 2 corporate jobs during 2020, during the pandemic, and worked both of them. This is not okay, by the way. This is not, they did not know that he was doing this, so just to be clarified. So he did that so that we could be in a great situation financially, and that I wouldn't have to worry about money and about us doing anything. And my business started to take off the more I allowed myself to actually be like looked after. Imagine that feminine energy. And so when we started investing in real estate, it was in 2020, and which was like, everyone was like, this is the worst time to buy, like, don't do it. And again, when they zig, you should zag. There's opportunity.
It was actually ended up being the best time to buy. Interest rates were non-existent.
But we started investing, and, you know, we invested, and the more we invested, the bigger the deals got, and the more, you know, and then Justin was able to leave corporate and he started raising capital. But we saw, he came to me one day and was like, I have an idea. And I'm like, okay. The first property we bought was a triplex. And he was like, we're going to take the long-term tenants out and we're going to put it on Airbnb. I'm like, you have never stayed in an Airbnb in your entire life. And he was like, I've done the math. Like, he is a very like finance and economics guy. And he's like, I've done the math. Like, this would yield way higher cash on cash returns if it was short-term rental. He had a spreadsheet. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we got a triplex. We turned it into a short-term rental, and we started cash flowing like immediately. And so we just kept buying properties. And I honestly think a huge reason why my business has been able to create the level of revenue it has is because I'm safe. I'm a safe woman. Our life is not dependent on me doing $500K, $1 million, then we have $50 million in real estate.
Wheeling up to some webinars.
Right. So I'm like, when you actually get, and again, I understand that, recognize that not everyone gets that privilege, but guess how we got that privilege? We invested, trust me, we lost money. We did bad real estate deals. We did not make good decisions, and we learn every single time. But for me, like having something that was about generational wealth and breaking generational curses. My husband grew up in Baltimore from a very different socioeconomic background to me, with very poor financial literacy and no reason on paper to be the human being that he is today, let alone to be as wealthy as he is. And so for me, it's about us being able to break generational cycles of financial illiteracy. And we started a foundation to help do that too, because again, like it's just as amazing to be somebody with money that can do good things. But building a real estate portfolio has created safety for me to be able to do more of what I want to do, and then the revenue increases regardless, because that's more magnetic.
So good. I felt like when Amy was saying, we were taught diversify, so I did that. I went, very young, started getting real estate, short term, long term, all of it. But I wasn't ready for any of that. And it was work. And you don't realize how not passive a lot of this is. And I wasn't the team builder that I am today. And I let go of a lot of those things and just doubled down on building the online business, which was the best move I think I could have made. Now I'm in a season of we're building our dream home. So I am kind of just keeping my focus there. But once the dream home is done, I think I might go back into real estate, but with a team. And not, because it's like, a business that runs without you with a team is passive, right? Like that's way more passive. A real estate business where you are the one checking on the tenants who call for a short-term Airbnb is a nightmare. So I think it's like there's a season for everything. And I'm kind of in a cleaned up season, simplified season, but I can see myself getting back there.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just did. So I have our tech strategist that we worked with. And so we did 3 different properties last year at the end, all at once, was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Kyle was like, because my husband has a full-time business, and then I obviously have a full-time business. And so we did realize that having 3, it was like driving us both insane because we were like, oh, it's turnkey. Oh, we hate all the furniture. Let's pay a designer.
Yes.
And then, so long story short, we have 3 properties now, and we just hired a full-time property manager that lives locally that can go set it up, make sure the music's going, write the notes, do the ads, do the website. But it was a lot, but that has been helpful. And I think we just had a conversation with this guy that has this like a big building. It's like an apartment complex. And so I'm trying to find a way that I can do real estate by not being like, we're an LP, limited partner. So I'm like, can we just give you them? We really trust him, and he's already done. So I think just trying to figure out the real estate thing without being the person that it really can drive insanity.
Because it is not passive.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. My husband does a lot of our real estate, but it starts small. To your point, like it was one cash flowing property, taking snowball, and then we did 10 Airbnbs here in Nashville. A couple, I think we're going to convert to sober living homes. And I know, I lost my sober living. We lost my dad to alcoholism, and that wasn't the catalyst for this. It was there's 10 heads, but what I love. What that would probably do to heal a part of my heart is to be able to serve where my dad spent a decent amount of time, you know? And I think that would be great. And then, are we talking tax strategies right now? Because it's my favorite conversation.
Do it. Yeah, and I have another one after you go.
Okay. I say we bought a volcano. He says that's not actually accurate, but it's like the mineral ash. I guess some mineral.
Why am I not surprised at all?
Like quadruples in value in its valuations over in Haiti, and so it's way funner to say you bought a volcano. But then we have like oil partnerships. I think today we're investing in. This is a weird one. It's a transmitter in like Talala, Oklahoma. But it's the only way radio gets to like this half of Oklahoma is through this transmitter, and you have to have that deal. And radio advertising is still alive and well. And so I'm looking at these numbers, and I'm like,
really?
Bon, let's
Boring
go.
money.
Boring money.
Boring money.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have any like ashes or volcanoes, but one of my friends is a tax strategist, and so she gave this like structure for every $100,000 that she pays herself, and I'm gonna try to get it right. It was like $50,000 was in like a real estate, a down payment fund out of the $100,000, and then $10,000 her husband goes to the gold store and gets legitimate gold every month. $10,000 was in stocks. And then I think the remaining, what is that, $30,000 I think that's left is like maxing out their 401ks and doing some retirement stuff. So I literally was like, Kyle, you're going to go to the gold store and we're going to get some gold. But it was like, just like having diversification. We think about that with ads, with our business. That's something that we're going to do that 10,000 stock situation. Yeah.
That's fun.
You like that? All right, Amy.
My husband is a prepper, so
Yes,
he would
mine
love
too.
yours too. He would love the gold story. He's been collecting gold for a long time.
Really?
Yes, loves it. But that's not really what I look at for long-term strategy. One of the things that Hobie and I really love, and I love that he's gotten on board with me, is investing in women's businesses. And so once we felt that we had all that we needed and we were as generous as we wanted to be, that's when we started to invest. And that's exciting to me. I also love the idea of women selling businesses. I've never sold one. I hope one day I do. But I hope some of these businesses we've invested in will sell, and just kind of to see that opportunity, the exit would be exciting, not just for us to make money, but to see what's possible. Because I know we talked about, my wealth is like the least interesting thing about me. We said that. But I got to come back to women making money. I think women steward money differently. Yeah. So having wealth and doing what we do with wealth and giving us the freedom and the agency and the opportunity, I think it changes the world. Yes. And so again, why I think it's so important you asked that question. So I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, it was a fun one. Thanks everybody for sharing.
Yeah,
I just always love to know where are you dipping your toes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have some quick little fire round questions for us. Love it. That will be really fun. Okay, what is one thing your audience thinks you do that you've actually stopped doing?
Oh.
Pranking my husband.
You've stopped?
I have. I just realized it in this moment. It just popped into my mind. I'm like, I've not pranked him in a long time.
Yep.
And I should start doing that.
That was part of your brand identity.
It was the whole thing. It was the whole thing. And I got away from it. I got to start doing that again.
Okay.
I can't think of something, but I dislike in this moment how we are like judged for stopping. Wait, I thought you still did this. Wait, what do you mean you drink that? You said you drank this coffee. I'm like, sorry, I didn't make a public announcement when I switched my decaf. Yeah, and you missed the one time I post. It's kind of crazy how much they expect us to like stay the exact same. Yeah, because I am constantly evolving. I am constantly changing. There's so many things I do stop. I do change. It's something we have to get used to.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. I don't know. I'm going to keep thinking of my thing though.
I think for me, I honestly just yesterday when I was on my call, someone asked me about like, what's the content strategy? Because I've seen you doing like more personality content. Are you trying to do like entertainment content? Like, is this like viral based? And I was like, actually, like, no, I'm just being myself and just showing up more. And I'm like more in my creativity era, if you will. So I'm kind of just showing up and following my nudges around. There's no, I think everything I've taught has been so around like strategic intentionality. And if anything, I was the girl that was like anti, like, you don't need to show your personality, but people should be hiring you based on like what you're fucking amazing at. So you don't even need to don't hire me based on my personality, hire me based on my skill set and like what I'm incredible at. And so I think for some people, it probably does feel like jarring to them, where they're like thinking that there's a bigger strategy underneath it versus just actually wanting to be, again, full expression is one of my biggest values, and creativity and originality. So just following those nudges. So they probably think that everything has got this like deep rooted strategic thing behind it, when it's actually just
that's great.
I'm like, love this.
You are
and again, it's not like I'm not smart enough to see that like like of course I'm not gonna like do something just like for no good reason, but I think that one of the biggest pieces of feedback I've always had from the people in my world is, what's the most surprising thing about Leanne when you join her world? The answer was always that like, oh, she's actually like really funny and down to earth, and I did not think
Leanne's
that
got jokes.
I'm like, how did you miss that? And then I realized, I looked at my content and I was like, oh, because they were just getting the trailblazer version of me. They weren't seeing my personality. So I think it feels cool for me to be fully expressed. And again, referencing that 2024 season of feeling invisible, I was like, I will never find myself there again. So one of the ways I counteract that is actually to bring more of myself to my brand, and not for you, but for me.
That's good. Love that. I think mine's a little bit similar, and I think I can be very strategic, formulaic, data driven, and that served me very, very well. Yeah. but I think there's a lot behind the scenes that just, I mean, yeah, it's data driven and there's conversations that are had, but it's not so rigid in the process. I'm not always looking for the right and perfect answer to things. I'm very open to testing things out and seeing where it lands. And then another thing very recently is that for several years, I stopped doing masterminds or in-person events because I got so flipping burnt out. And a big part of this was that my audience and who I was calling in to attract was pivoting. And that was a big ship to turn around. And it took a long time and a lot of just inner work and just almost 2 years, 18 months to 2 years of really doing that. And I needed to kind of do what I needed to do. But I guess to maybe make myself feel better, I was like kind of using it as a flex. And I was like, no, I'm not the kind of business that like is in person with people. And I don't do the masterminds. And, I'm not a community girl. Like you don't come to me to find community. You come to me when you're X, Y, and Z. You come to me when you want to be influenced or impacted. And I did my first retreat in 3 years a couple of months ago. And one of the women that attended, she was like, I know that you said that on your podcast, but I think that you need to change that because there's actually a lot of community that's here happening. I just don't think that you don't have to have the burden of like carrying it and carrying it anymore. And so I received that. So I think that that's something that flex of being closed off to community is in sisterhood or whatever you want to call it is actually not true.
Love. Okay, thought of one. I am not reading business books or business podcasts right now. And I was just on a different podcast and she's like, give me your favorite business book. I was like, I can't think of anything business, but I have a ton of spiritual stuff. Like I am in this journey right now of mindset and just awareness and all of this. And I think most people that would watch me online would not think that.
I wouldn't even know that.
Yeah. So I'm just in this very different space of like just becoming the next version. I don't need a strategy right now.
No, $100 million Stacy does not need a flipping strategy.
I know.
She's got strategy. She's got all the strategy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good stuff. I think for me, I have said for many years when I was starting my business, I hated video and I just wasn't comfortable on video. I didn't want to do video. And now it's like the least, I never even think about it. I just do video every single day. And I'm doing my podcast in person now, but people want to still label me as, oh, but Amy, you don't like video. Like it comes up in so many interviews. I'm like, I have so outgrown that. But I think, again, maybe they don't like to do video, so they want to hear me. And I think I love the conversations we've had here today. There's been a theme of it's okay to grow. It's okay to change. It's okay to change your mind. And so it's something that kind of plagues me still to this day where I'm like, I'm good.
Well, it's that holding you to that standard piece.
Yes.
That's just,
exactly. You said it one time 4 years ago in this one episode.
It's
gospel.
It's like, it's over. That's who you are.
That's who you are.
So true.
Oh.
Okay, so I was trying to think. I think one thing that I've been working on through the like burnout of the 70 boxers, like recovering from that is I think there was a moment where I shared so much that I worked 24/7 because I wanted to show like I'm not just getting this lucky. I'm busting my absolute fanny for this. And so I showed how much I worked. And so I was one of you I was sharing like how little sleep I got. Like I was like not eating and then I was like sleeping 5 or 6 hours because I was like on this mission. And so I don't know that I do the best job of like I feel like I was like killing myself. I don't do that anymore. Like I really do let things be an open loop. Like I have trained myself to say I have 23 Slacks, I have 72 text messages, I have 40 emails, and it'll be there tomorrow. And I think people still think you're just going, how are you? You never stop. It's like, I actually do stop. I just don't show the stop. But I'm really pausing a lot more and letting things ride.
So good.
You're proud of me, aren't you?
I am very, because you told me that and I was like, oh no.
Yeah. I was like, well, even when you said that you're not listening to a podcast this morning, I was getting ready. That Kyle was still asleep in our bathroom. It's a beautiful bathroom, but there's no door between the bedroom and the bathroom. So anyway, I was trying to be quiet and I was like, oh, I'll just put my headphones in and listen to a podcast. And I was like, no, you don't need an input. You're going to be in people and we're going to talk and it's going to be great. I was like, I need utter silence.
Center yourself.
I used to guilt myself and be like, you're wasting time. You could be getting further ahead. Someone else is listening to this podcast while you're sitting here in silence. Like, okay?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
No,
And I was like,
I'd be like, I'm on a walk. What are you doing? Not listening to a podcast while you're walking.
Right.
Now I'm like, I just want to hear nothing.
And I would have anxiety and like live with like that wasted 45 minutes. And today I was like, that was so the right move. So I just think stopping more.
All right. Next question. What piece of advice are you done giving?
I mean, I think, part of me is kind of like done with the conversation around like work ethic and being exceptional at what you do is the bare minimum. Like, it's like, I think I'm like unavailable for conversations around like, how do you stay motivated? I might ask me a different question. Like, I don't understand how to answer that. Like, you don't want it. If you're not motivated, you don't want it. And I think the same thing with entrepreneurship. It's like, I don't think that, as much as I think it's important for us to share the different seasons, I don't think we have a responsibility to remind people that it's hard work to build a business or to be influential. I don't think we have a responsibility to remind people that integrity and being exceptional at what you do is like the bare minimum requirement to be delusionally successful. And I'd shared like in the break around how a big part of 2023 and into 2024, I had really focused on like, if I can, you can, and almost like convincing people that their dreams were possible for them. And what I actually found was that was not actually attracting the right people. It was attracting people who needed me to be the sun, the moon, and the stars, otherwise they couldn't shine. And the people that I actually wanted to work with don't need me. They just, by watching me, they know that it's possible. The way I watch the women here, I'm like, then that is possible for me. So for me, I'm done with any conversation that is around like work ethic being a high. Again, you don't even need to tell people your higher integrity, just show them. Like, it's actually very easy to win in the online space when you double down on becoming exceptional at what you do and doing it at a really high standard and being a great human, apologizing when you get it wrong, constantly doing better. Like, I just think that now is the time for women to like really understand that it's like, this game is not for everyone, and that's okay too.
I think I'm done just giving advice in a lot of ways. Like, I feel like it's interesting because the type of woman that's in my world now, she's not coming to me for like advice-y type of conversations. She's not coming to me of do you think this content will perform well, or those kinds of conversations that can happen in other rooms that I've been in and I've led. But there's still me holding her to her highest self and to the caliber of leadership that she's saying she's rising into and really owning that identity. There will be times that, their clients are asking questions or, and underneath that, it's like, there is a little bit of maybe they don't trust themselves in this, or maybe this is new and this is foreign. And so they're looking for a little bit of safety or validation. And I just don't give them that. I give them the mirror and the support system, but it is not my job to give you advice so that you continue to lean on me as a crutch. It is my job to support you in architecting what it is that you're actually building. And right now, you're basically trying to bring drapes into a house and hang them on a wall that doesn't exist yet because we're building this, and you're wanting my advice on the color of the drapes.
Great.
So let's actually come back to you architecting this. And so that's been a big thing for me, just as a coach.
Love that.
And as a leader, to really notice where I am over coaching, over giving, overdoing, and just my own way of that probably makes me feel important. It probably makes me feel valuable, and reframing that for myself. And so really it's, and I'm very clear on that. It's like, you don't need it. You're not hiring me for advice. You can go to ChatGPT for
like
advice.
Not even making them feel good in the moment at the detriment of like, it's like, actually I could make you feel good right now.
Right.
But it's like, actually I would rather make you feel uncomfortable right now so that you feel good.
Yes.
Later.
You feel good making your own decisions. You feel good testing this without me telling you, that looks good. Go test it. It's like, you don't need me for that. So that's been a good healing thing for my own worthiness and value.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I think I'm noticing this similar pattern around not telling people what they want. It's not what they want to hear is actually not usually related to the question that they're asking.
Correct.
And really recognizing that there's two different types of people. There's the people who have to be motivated and they want motivation is pushing. Like they have to be pushed versus having a vision so big that pulls them up to it and makes them jump out of bed. Then you don't need the motivation because we've all been breathing long enough to know that motivation fades. So when they first come into the program or into V Club, anything that we're doing, they're motivated right away. And then I know that they're going to start to fall off in 30, 45 days. You just if they're just riding on pure motivation of the high, rather than helping them paint a vision so big for their life and the way that they want to show up and how they want to make people feel, that pulls them. And so the way that I've coached content is really coaching confidence more than anything. And so I've changed a lot of the advice to actually pull my questions up to a higher level to extract something different out of it.
And it helps them learn how to ask better questions.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think I am done giving advice to people who don't do the thing I've asked them to do.
Oh, that.
So-
yes.
Like one of the things that I am making is like a change in my program is people will come on the coaching call to ask a question because it feels good to ask a question.
Yes.
And I now have my team using AI pull their course progress. So I'm like, you're confused. Oh, the reason you're confused is because you haven't watched how to do this thing. So until you do, hold your question. And I want to give you feedback on something you've done, not something you've thought about.
Yes, because you can't think your way there.
Yeah, because because I'm a people pleaser, I'm like, well, I don't want them to be on the coaching call and be like, I'm not asking your question. But this past week, I was like, she asked me a question about her tagline. And I said, Sonia, do you mind if I like kind of give you some advice you might not be expecting? And she was like, absolutely. And I said, you've been talking about your tagline and your offers and your pricing and this for about 6 months now. And what I'm ready for you to do is just launch some ads.
Yeah.
And it's like been so hard for me to say that, but I'm like, I know I'm doing a disservice to her, just being like, well, this could be your tagline. I'm like, it don't matter if nobody finds the dang thing anyway. I was like, let's just do something and then talk about it. So I think I'm just finally at like, this is my requirement for you to be able to ask a question. If you want to be a fly on the wall, that's fine. But do the work so that I can actually help you.
Standards, baby.
So good.
Lord, it's so hard to establish them because I'm like, they paid me money, but it's like, no.
But everyone in there is like so grateful when you do that.
They are.
Because it rises the energy all up to here.
And hopefully she got a butt kicking and she's going to go do it.
Yeah. And that's exactly what she paid you to tell her.
Yes.
It just took me a minute to do the thing that everybody else did for me, to do with them. But also I wouldn't want to be a part of a group when someone's asking a question, whereas someone else did the work. It's like they're not going to attend the call. I'll lose money, not just from that.
Correct.
Yeah, you get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
It's a I had somebody tell me once, it's like a neighborhood that's on fire. If one house is on fire, the embers will start to percolate. And if you don't blow those embers out before you know it, your whole neighborhood's on fire.
That is so good.
So you've got to extinguish those embers before they get to the other houses.
So good.
I think for me, it's very much in line with what you ladies were saying. I've changed my audience, as you know, going from digital courses to a high-end coaching program. And I am all about inviting and no longer convincing. And when you work with a woman who's already built a business and wanting to do even more, when you attract her into your world that you've invited and you didn't have to talk her into buying anything, it is a whole different experience as a creator. And I'm experiencing that for the first time.
Yeah.
And I love it. I like to work with a tiger, someone that's like, let me in, let me do it. And so I just ask myself, are you convincing today or are you inviting? And when I invite, that's when I love my job. So no more convincing.
So good.
You've earned that too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
they should be knocking on the door.
Yeah, and like the caliber of woman that anybody here is working with should not need to talk to their aunt and their uncle and their goat and their dog and need a 12,000 touch point, whatever, to say yes. That's just
Yes. But if a woman just heard you say that, I want her to ask herself, are you asking everyone for permission or are you just deciding, I want this and I'm going to go get it? If you feel like you always have to be convinced to buy something, a program, a course, a membership, you're not ready for it. So I think it changes everything.
Yep. Yeah. And it kind of goes back to like before I was ready, when I was making $250,000 a year and I invested in that $25,000 mastermind, I literally didn't tell my husband because I didn't want anyone's input. I knew that I needed to do this. I was flipping terrified. I was like, I need a payment plan. She was like, I got you, girl. But it was the best thing that happened to me. But that came from me. There was this thing that just this drive, this focus, this whatever it was that was like, I know I need this. I know I'm scared. I've got to do it. And I've got to just figure it out.
And I know exactly how you showed up in that mastermind.
Yes.
Right.
And that's, I went 250 to 1.3 million in 9 months.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And this is why you had $1 million launch, because you attract the type of buyer that you are. And I'm like, you're not selling. That's because you struggle paying for value.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got to sell like you buy.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so hard for us because people think, well, of course you guys are saying this. You're coaches. You want us to just buy your thing and say this. And it's like, no, you don't understand. We were you. Should I ask my husband? Should I not ask my husband? My CPA said no. Do I do it anyway?
You're right.
But this room, how can you not tell? We just don't ask permission. It's like we want it, we go get it.
Yes.
Like that is the energy we have. And it's very authentic, you know? So I just hope they feel that, because it's not us being like, you should buy work coaches and buy from us. It is not.
Sign
It
up
is
for my
like,
class.
this is who we are.
Yes.
Like, this is why, and we've always had coaches and we always will have coaches. Why would we not?
Can I tell you something I realized the other day about ChatGPT and like this whole permission thing is someone asked ChatGPT if they should work with me. Okay. And it did a really great job. And also she was like, but I ask it for all these decisions and I'm looking for reviews. And I'm like, the whole problem with asking ChatGPT is that it's going to give you a logical answer. Sometimes the illogical answer is the answer. Yeah. Like when I made my first investment, it was a $50,000 program. I did not have $50,000 in cash. I negotiated with the Chase Bank lady on the phone and said, something big's coming and God told me. And I know it's there. And so it's going to be great. And like the total revenue I think I'd had in my business to that point was $100,000 over a year. And I want 50 for like a whole thing, right? Illogical. Anybody who's thinking logically is going to tell you no.
Correct.
So you just have to be okay being like, this makes absolutely no sense, and I'm doing it anyway. Because if you have the conviction and certainty, like I know beyond a shadow of doubt, I would not be sitting right here with y'all had I not made the most illogical move.
Yeah, same.
Agreed.
Can we raise? I mean,
over and over again.
It's a yes across the
It was
room.
a series of illogical, unrealistic.
If you want the delusional, you need to make a logical
Literally.
Yes. And we're still doing it today.
Yes.
Like it's just the numbers are even crazier. Like literally, they're
really
wild.
are.
Like it's just like I used to be afraid of 2,000. Now I'm like 200,000. Interesting. Can I put that on 3 credit cards?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. You know, it's like we're still doing it. You know.
Well, speaking of which, to wrap us up for today, I would love for everyone to share what is an audacious, illogical, crazy, I want to say goal, maybe just thing that you're feeling into. Maybe you know it's coming in the pipeline this year, or you're starting to think about that you could share to help just kind of expand those that are watching and listening today. And it doesn't even have to be about business.
Yeah. I already know one for
Okay,
me.
go.
I am going to invest in paying someone so much more money than I've ever paid anyone on my team, because I have truly witnessed what it looks like to invest in someone who has deep experience. And I have been so obsessed with this profitability number. And I do know, Stacey's smiling if you can't see her, I do know that on the other side of investing in someone who's skilled, it will create the revenue back. But I have been so stinking chicken. I'm like, I need someone that has a 2 in front of their, or 3 or 4. I just want to pay for value, because I do that in every other area of business. Why have I not done that
And think
as I grow the team?
you talk to a coach how often? You talk to a team member all
the
day
time.
long.
Yeah. And their one priority is this business versus I know it's the decision that I've been delaying. And so that's the big thing I know I'm going to do. And in fact, I actually mapped out my goal is to have $1 million in new hires of revenue. You know what I mean? In the next like 6 months. So that's my goal.
Beautiful.
Dang.
We're going to talk
I'm
later.
impressed.
I'll tell you, I already know the positions, but we'll talk about it.
So good.
So everything that we teach is entertain the masses, educate the interested, sell to the committed. And you're just giving people a bigger net, because when they're stuck, plateaued with their views and their visibility, nobody can buy from you if they don't know you exist. So we help package them in a different way that attracts people and wraps in a package that is honoring across most major platforms, and fun for them to just explore and stand out, so they stop looking the same as everybody else, doing the exact same thing that they think they should be doing. And that goes all the way up to the Procter & Gamble's of the world, and helping bring them into social media in a way where they don't look like an ad, you know, and they speak a native social fun language. And so there's 2 things that we're going to do. One is do more of the bigger brands. And I'm really excited about helping them show up on social with verticals.
These are big brands.
Social shows. Yes. And so I'm really excited for this opportunity that's come from being more visible and talking about this. And it's going to be fun, because I feel like I've talked myself into a desk job over the last 2 or 3 years, and that's not where I'm best suited. Trying to be this version of myself, and I've grown and I've learned so much, but it's also not the most fun for me. And I think I've lost the thing that got us to where we were being successful. And I kind of want to go back to doing more of that entertainment. Good. Think of like Shark Tank. You watch it for entertainment, but you happen to learn a lot about entrepreneurship. You happen to learn a lot about those brands. And so what's coming down the pipeline for us is merging these 2 worlds and finally finding that bridge. And I'm really excited about that.
That's big.
I know, I'm excited.
And mine's kind of similar in a sense, because I obviously launched the Soft Girl Millions show, which was, again, I did it for me, because I'm like, it's like if you took everything that I've loved creating in my content, whether it be like the fashion, like just everything, my love of iconic women, and you put it into one place, like the show is that for me, like with the travel and the creativity and the originality, but again, with the like conversations with iconic women. And I think for me, it's like that feeling of detached from the outcome, whilst also having come away from season 1 being like, oh, like this is what I was meant to do. And it not needing to make sense in the sense of like, okay, how do we reverse engineer a Netflix show? It's like, but in the sense of I can feel in the depths of my cells and my soul that this will be the beginning of whatever is in the future for me. And I can see a world where we do, you know, seasons in different locations, and where that's what I do. And where it's like you take, you know, Diary of a CEO or whatever, and you make this like epic thing that becomes watched by millions, and we interview like incredible iconic humans all over the planet. Like, I'm like, this is just so fun. And I feel so in my element and so creatively expressed that I'm just really excited to see what happens over the course of this year as we continue to roll out the show.
So good. For me, so this happened maybe a month or 2 ago. I went to my mastermind and I said, okay, I want to bring in about $500,000 in the next 60 days. And somebody said, easy, just offer a $100,000 offer and get 5 people. And I like laughed out loud. I was like, no, like that maybe for you, like maybe that'd be easy for you, but like what would I do? And I saw myself and I went, wow, that's crazy that I don't think I could do that. So I launched a $100,000 offer, and I had 2 people jump into it. I made them their $100,000 back in 2 weeks. So it was kind of like almost like a beta. And now we're actually like, we've crafted it. We're launching it to our community this month. And I actually believe it now. Whereas like a month or 2 ago, I laughed out loud at the thought of like, who would pay me that, right? And which is just crazy, because I can offer so much value in a simple conversation. And this is like a full on, you know, so it's just such an up level, I think, for me to go and even say it out loud and to say the number and go, yeah, that's what it costs to work with me.
Yeah. I love it.
That's awesome.
Yes, that's exciting. So I have been known for courses forever. And so launching a new coaching program, I would love my coaching program, Calibre, to be known as the coaching program for female entrepreneurs building their marketing. I just want it to be a household name because I know what it can do for people's businesses. So that means I have to be the best coach I could possibly be. I know how to be a teacher and a trainer. Coaching isn't something I would do every day. So I have some work to do, and I am obsessed with it because I know it can change lives.
So good. You're a great coach.
Thank you.
You are. Mine is, the reason why it feels so illogical and audacious for me is because I did this a few years ago and then I said I'd never do it again. But I just got a book deal. I haven't announced it yet. So I'm going to officially announce more of it to come with the publishing house. But I am doing a second book. It is not a business book.
Oh.
It's not a fiction book.
Okay.
I'm not storytelling over here.
I know. Is it a true crime?
No. But it feels like something that is kind of what you said. This is something that is greater than what I do in the confines of the online marketing space. And I know that I haven't even begun to reach the corners of my potential with this. And so the first kind of kickoff to whatever this is going to be is this new book. So
congrats.
It's coming out in 2026.
Very exciting.
Yes. Pun intended.
So, all right, ladies. Well, again, thank you, each and every one of you.
Thank you.
For your time, your honesty, your truth, your wisdom, your beauty, your grace, all of it. It has been such a gift to have you all here. And just like, this is so awesome and easy.
So
like,
fun.
you could just do this all day long. So thank you, each and every one of you. And for those that are watching and listening, please let us know the takeaways, the moments, the reframes, anything that really made you pause and that you're going to be taking with you after this conversation. We know that conversations like this, they compound over time, and we want to hear from you. We want to know the changes that you are going to start imparting in your life and the ways that you're thinking differently. So definitely all of these ladies and where you can find them are going to be in our show notes. So look there, stalk us down, let us know. We want to hear your feedback. And again, thank you so much for being with us on another episode of Woman of Influence.